Welcome back to another Medtech Snapshot. With me today is the CEO and co-founder of IntelliVask, Andrew O.V. And we're going to be talking about some fun topics, everything from how do you transition out of that large organization into your own startup? And perhaps more important, how do you find the right co-founder to join you and build that team? We also have a surprise question for Andrew, so stay with us. All right, Andrew, we're talking about a pretty sensitive discussion here right now, which is, you have started a medical device organization, a startup, with another individual, a partner. The interesting thing from the Small Business Administration, the SBA, they've identified that the number one reason a small business fails in the United States is due to the erosion of partnerships. So I would love to learn from you, your perspective. How do you go out and find the right co-founder, the right partners, if you will, to make sure that the team that you're building is positioned for success?
This is a great question, Travis, and you're right. Number one cause of failure of a startup, it's on its own organization. So human interactions are critical for startups, especially because you are dealing with very few amount of individuals. Sometimes you see them more often than your own partner. So the relationship has to be good. In my case, I've seen many founders that was not the situation. In my case, I didn't know anyone. I came from Europe to the US with the pursuit of creating the most successful ecosystem and environment to see my company grow and succeed. So I came from the UK to the Bay Area to do just that. And I didn't know any single engineer. And that was one of the critical co-founders I needed to create my sensor. It was an engineer, a technical partner. But the first one was not technical. And the first one was the clinical. And the first thing I did before I decided to do it, to incorporate the company, I called 20 of my previous customers in the US, which were vascular surgeons. And I asked them, look, if I were to do this company and create this product, would you buy it if it works? And 100% of them told me yes. So I found that I was after the right track if the customer or the user were telling me that they would use it. And one of them, during these conversations, Professor Bismuth, chief of vascular surgery department at Tampa General, mentioned, wow, I just wrote a chapter of the book about remote monitoring in vascular conditions.
Wow.
I would love to co-found the company with you. So that was powerful. And of course, it gives you the strength of all this credibility and support from what it would be one final user. So I had my second co-founder, a customer I knew for several years, and we trusted each other. We came from a solid, especially him, with a very solid long career, and we created the company. So now we needed the technical guy. And sometimes, things work in a funny way. I was at that time at Stanford pursuing the Ignite program, which is a program for executives that want to become entrepreneurs. Is a quite competitive program, but I got in, and I took advantage that the full quarter I would spend in Stanford's campus to find a technical person, maybe a postdoc or a professor. That didn't work out, but again, generosity played big here. Got a lot of very good information from academics, but that was not enough. I had to go out and try to find other companies that did technologies with a similar use and try to find if someone might be willing to create this technology together with me and Professor Bismuth. And I found that person, and has been instrumental for us. So it's sometimes you never know where that person is going to come from. And my recommendation, and again, it's that there are different opinions here, but my recommendation is not to accept family and friends' money. If you want to keep them to be your family and friends,
Yes.
Right? And not always it's good that you create a company with your best friend. It certainly helps that you know this person and you just didn't happen to find that person and get to marriage each other, because that's going to be very much like a marriage, right? That to find a co-founder is going to be a long-term relationship that you will see hypes and downs, and especially with the startup ecosystem, it's a roller coaster. One day you are high, another day you're on the bottom. So you don't necessarily have to co-found a company with a friend if you value this friendship, because sometimes things got rough, and sometimes the fact that you know for long years together, sometimes when you are in disagreement or in low days, low hours, that doesn't necessarily benefit. So it has to be a good match between how well you know this person, how both personalities can work together, the long-term vision, and the respect and admiration from each other, which paradoxically works the same with the marriage. I believe that long-term marriages work when you have a genuine admiration for each other that boosts this love and wants to work through the adversity. So that's the same thing with co-founders. You ought to be admiring the know-how and appreciating and respecting the know-how of that person, understanding where he's coming from, and even you disagree, to find the mechanisms and even create a strategy or create a system that when there is a disagreement, how we are going to go through it, right? And that's my opinion, and there are very different point of views in this matter, but it's a fascinating, complex topic as well.